Hello everyone, welcome to Learn ReactJS for Frontend Development by CodeChef. In today's lesson, we'll be discussing conditional rendering in React, that is, which content to show and when. Whether it's a login page or a welcome message, React uses conditions to control the UI. So, in this lesson, we'll be looking at simple and commonly used ways to handle this using if statements, ternary operators, and logical AND operator. So let's begin. So let us understand conditional rendering in React. It simply means showing different UI on the screen based on certain conditions. So what is conditional rendering? Conditional rendering means React decides what to display based on values like true or false. Instead of manually changing the UI, we let conditions control what gets rendered. So why do we need it? In real applications, the UI is not the same for everyone. Some users are logged in, some are not. Some users have premium access and some don't. Conditional rendering helps us handle all these cases. So let us see how we can implement conditional rendering. First, using if statement. One of the simplest ways to handle conditions is using an if statement. Inside a React component, we can check a condition and return different JSX accordingly. In this example here, we check if the user is logged in. If isLoggedIn is true, we return a welcome message. If it's false, we return a message asking the user to log in. Only one return statement runs based on the condition. When we want to apply conditions directly inside JSX, we commonly use the ternary operator. Its syntax is condition ? UI if true, UI if false. That is, if a particular condition is true, then whatever is present in the true UI will be returned, or else whatever is present in the false UI will be returned. And the logical AND operator, it is used when we want something to appear only if a condition is true. If the condition is false, nothing is rendered. So let us look at an example for logical AND operator. Here, the user gets an extra discount only if they are a premium member and they have a coupon. Both conditions must be true for the message to appear. So let us see how we can use if statement for conditional rendering in React. In this code, we start by creating a React component called discount_message. This component receives one prop, isPremiumMember. You can think of this prop as a simple true or false value that tells us whether the user is a premium member or not. Inside the component, we use an if statement. First, React checks this condition, if isPremiumMember. If this value is true, the component immediately returns this JSX. You get a 20% discount. Once a return runs, React stops executing the component and renders that message on the screen. If isPremiumMember is false, the if condition fails. So React moves to the else block and returns a different message. Sign up for premium to unlock discounts. This is how we show different UI based on a condition. This is called conditional rendering. Now let us look at the app component. Here we define a variable called isPremiumMember and set it to true. We then pass this value to the discount message component as a prop. When this value is true, the discount message is displayed. If you change this value to false, refresh the app and then run it again, you'll see the other message instead. The UI changes automatically based on the condition, no manual updates needed. So let's just run this code once. So you can see we've got the message you get a 20% discount. Let's change this from true to false. Now you can see we've gotten the message sign up for premium to unlock discounts. So let's just submit this code once. So I passed both the test cases. Now let us see in this example, which uses the ternary operator for conditional rendering in React. We start with a component called lightStatus. This component receives a prop name isLightOn. Inside the return statement, instead of using an if condition, we use a ternary operator. Here, the condition is isLightOn. If isLightOn is true, React returns the heading lightsOn. If isLightOn is false, React returns lightsoff instead. This entire condition is returned directly inside JSX using curly braces. That's why the ternary operator is commonly used. It keeps the logic short and readable when switching between two UI options. Now let us look at the app component. Here we render the lightStatus component and pass isLightOn as true, because the value is true and the output on the screen is lightsOn. If you change this value of false and run the code again, React automatically updates the UI to show lights off. This pattern is very useful when you want to toggle UI. For example, light status, login state or theme mode. Try changing the value yourself in the CodeChef editor and observe how the output changes instantly. So let's just run this code once. So you can see we have printed out lights on. Let me change this to false and refresh our page. So you can see we printed out lights off as soon as we change this to false. Let's just submit this code once. So we passed both the test cases. Now let us look at this final example where we combine multiple conditions in React. First, we start with a component called welcome message. This component receives two props, is logged in and is premium user. At the top we render a heading, my React app. This heading is always shown no matter what the condition is. Below that, we have a conditional expression written inside JSX. Here we are using two things together, the logical AND operator and the ternary operator. First, React evaluates this condition, is logged in and is premium user. The two ampersands over here represent the AND operator. This expression becomes true only when both values are true. If both is logged in and is premium user are true, React renders the message welcome to premium content. If either one of them is fake, the condition fails and React renders the fallback message, please log in and upgrade to premium. Now let's look at the app component. Here, is logged in is set to true, but is premium user is set to false. Because both values are not true at the same time, the condition fails and the second message is displayed. Let's just run this code once. So you can see we've got the message please log in and upgrade to premium. Let me change both to true. So you can see we printed out the message welcome to premium content when both are true. So let me just submit this code once. So we passed both the test cases. So that's how conditional rendering works in React. To really understand this concept, make sure to head over to the CodeChef platform and try out the practice problems yourself. That's where the real learning happens. That was it for this lesson and I will see you in the next one. Thank you.